believing in yourself. Strategies I put in place to support me believe in myself. And how I started believing in myself. When I get a challenge, I believe that that challenge is a foundation of my success. I always make sure that I research on what I'm going to do. One of the things I came to learn was almost everything has been done and documented except 1%. That is my perception that I have. So what I do is I always make sure that I research on what I'm going to do. If I'm involved in anything, I have to make sure that I research. And as I research, I try to look at what would be the limitations. So looking at the limitations of what I'm going to do, and I try to put in place things that will help me curb down the limitations. That is one. Another thing is I don't spend a lot of time crying over spilt milk. When I get a challenge, I sit and look at the possible solutions, then collect myself up, and then move on. When I get a challenge, I believe that that challenge is a foundation of my success. For example, I love mushroom growing. But my mushroom growing started with total failure. I got a consultant to promote mushroom growing because I never believed in myself. We never believed in ourselves that we could read and research and promote mushroom growing. So we got a consultant. We were supposed to grow oyster mushrooms. The consultant told us, look here, button mushrooms are more marketable. So what happened was we were diverted. The consultant diverted us and we went to button mushrooms. We went to promote growing button mushrooms. And guess what? It was a total failure. It was a total mess. Imagine sterilizing substrate over 2 tons and all the substrate fails in front of the farmers. It was a total failure. It was a total mess. It was a very big embarrassment to me and the organization. But what we did was to collect ourselves as soon as we failed, went out to the people that were growing mushrooms, learned from them. That is why I'm telling you that everything you're going to do, it has been done. Please try to look out for knowledge and information. So when we went out, we looked at how other people were growing mushrooms. We learned, came back, established a demonstration site, and boom, we started mushroom growing. So I believe any failure is a foundation to my success. And that is why I always take failure important. There is one thing we used to have, do correction. Why should they tell you to do corrections if it was not important? Another thing I always do is I always analyze my day or the activity or whatever I have done. I ensure I analyze, look at it, look at the positives and look at the negatives. And when I get a challenge, I look at the positives in the challenge. For example, currently I'm struggling with growing lion's mane mushrooms, but I have been failing. However, I celebrate the success that I get. Even when I make a garden and part of the garden colonizes and then infection comes, I look at this part that has colonized. I started with making spawn, and at least I know that now I can make lion's mane grain spawn. After making grain spawn, I'm now struggling with growing lion's mane from a mushroom garden. So you need to know that you'll get challenges. But when you get challenges, learn from the challenges, and these challenges are acting as a foundation to your success. So that is one thing I always do. Secondly, looking at the negative in a positive way. I have my colleague who always tells me, please look at the positive. In any situation, look at the positive. In Africa, we say that your tongue is your creator. So I believe my tongue is my creator. It creates what I'm going to be. It creates what I'm going to see. So what I say or think about always comes in place. I always ensure that I think the positive. I do the positive. I'm always positive sided. And even when I get a challenge, I get a positive out of a challenge. As you look for a job, one thing I would tell you to do is make sure you are positive. Be positive, look at the positive, and even when you go to drop your application, look at the negatives and turn them into positives. In that way, you will increase your chances of success. So that is how I have been able to believe in myself. Believe in yourself. Always be positive. Get the positive from the negative. Ensure you get the good from the bad. Always be good-sided. Always think about the good. Do not take a lot of time crying, sobbing, thinking about the negative. It will conquer you. Always think out at the positive. Get the positive from the negative. Love you. Please don't forget to subscribe. All these videos, my journey, how I have managed to do this, are found on Eco-Agric Uganda YouTube channel. That's where the full video is. Please go there, watch the videos, and you never know. You might pick a leaf from what I do or from my life stories. Love you.